After working 25 years at Missouri State University, or was it SMS? Greg Burris served as our city manager for Springfield. Did you know we're the state's third largest city? He pointed that out. For 10 years, from September 15th of 2008 until the day the Great Recession started through June 30th of 18. After an 8-day retirement, Greg joined United Way of the Ozarks and served as the organization's president and CEO. Greg also served as founder of the Give 5 program, and I'm so excited to hear about that. A first of its kind program that matches retired and retiring baby boomers with key volunteer opportunities in their community and provides fuel for today's nonprofits. Greg retired again as president and CEO in June of 2024 and currently serves as the part-time executive director of the Give 5 program for United Way. Currently, Greg is working with the Greater Ozarks coordinating school districts to insert the Give 5 program into the curriculum of our 5 high schools, which include student teams working to address real-world challenges at each nonprofit visit. Greg married up. He was born on Halloween, and he is also a recovering computer programmer, formerly worked as a custodian and a lumber stacker, worked for 25 years at Missouri State University, maybe the only computer programmer put in charge of the design and construction of an 11,000-seat basketball arena, has a passion for great customer service, once had a half-court shot 24 seconds before halftime in the state high school basketball championship game, pole vaulted for the high school that had neither a pole nor a mitt. Sorry, I popped. And he enjoys French silk chocolate pie, typically alone in a corner. I would like to welcome Greg Burris. Greg is our nonprofit moderator, and he's going to introduce us to some fun people. Stay steady.
I didn't write any of that. Kim made most of that up. So just real quickly, we have started putting the Give 5 program into high schools, which is really interesting. I've never written a high school curriculum in my life. But we're teaching them about their community. They go visit nonprofits, and then the students are doing a project, and they will work on a real life problem project. It's a problem or a challenge for those nonprofits. By April, they will present their solutions to the nonprofit's executive team and board of directors. According to the Greater Ozarks Coordinating School Districts, and I have no reason to think they're lying, but they say this is the first of its kind in the country. Our community does a lot of entrepreneurial things. And so if you're not aware of it, there are 5 nonprofit programs that originated in Springfield, Missouri that are going national at the same time. We don't always think about that, but this entrepreneurial spirit of Springfield just kind of seeps through everything. And so I think we should take some pride in that. I did remind the NIXA students on Tuesday. I don't know if you've ever been out to the NIXA schools and their new high school. When I went to high school in NIXA, half the building was condemned. And like Kim said, I pole vaulted and we didn't have a pole. I went out to the NIXA high school facility, and they have an indoor full football field. That's a little different than when I went to school. And so it's amazing how far parts of our community have come. I'm going to introduce our guest panelists and ask that they come up to the table as I introduce them. The O'Reilly Center for Hope is a facility in town that's on the north side, and you may be familiar with it, but I'm going to invite Adam Bodendieck. He's the Senior Director of Homeless Services to come up. Jordan Browning, who's the Director of Communications for Ozarks Food Harvest, and Saundra Wilkinson, who has many roles, and including, I guess, Vice President at the Women's Medical Respite. And I first met Saundra because she is the Give 5 graduate who learned about the organization through the Give 5 program. And so I'm going to ask each of them a series of questions. We'll go through that quickly. So start thinking of your questions because we want to leave some time at the end for Q&A. So I'm going to come over. I guess I'll do it from here. So Adam, we'll start with you. Let's have each of you start by just briefly describing what your organization does and the need that it meets in the community.
So it is impossible to briefly describe what Community Partnership of the Ozarks does. I think hopefully a lot of you are familiar. Essentially, we have 4 distinct divisions. There is early childhood, substance use prevention and youth support services, community and neighborhood development, and affordable housing and homeless prevention. So I'm going to focus on that last one. That is my wheelhouse. Over at the O'Reilly Center for Hope on Eastdale in the Robertson neighborhood, we are a one-stop hub for connecting people to housing and financial stability resources. We do this by bringing about 20 different partners together under one roof. And that includes everything from borough behavioral health and their street outreach and homeless services team to the Department of Social Services doing food stamps, SNAP, Medicaid, outreach and applications and communities at that location. We have the WIC program serving families over there, some affordable home ownership programs, our own one-door program, which is the entry point into connecting with supportive housing services for those who are experiencing homelessness. In addition to all of the programming, we offer some critical care services. We have showers, we have laundry, we run a manual address for those who do not have an address, health and hygiene commissary. Having said all that, it's about to change. We are in the process currently, we are shifting a lot of our home services to a new day center that we will be opening over at Chestnut and Campbell in the old Legal Services of Southern Missouri building. We have some construction underway at the moment. We are looking forward to getting moving over there within the next couple of months. Please, everybody, knock on whatever wood you can find, because I've been told that the move is imminent for just about a year now. Nothing ever goes according to plan, but we're getting there. We're getting close. I have it on good authority. So we will be shifting a lot of our homeless services to that location, doing some things a little bit differently over there. And the O'Reilly Center for Hope is going to become much more family and early childhood centric. So that division has moved in. You've got some new partners, OCAC Head Start, a few others. There will be some new partners coming on shortly as well. But that is going to be a center designed to provide supportive services and connection for families and kids. That wasn't very brief. I apologize.
We're out of time. Thank you for coming. Jordan.
Yes, I'll try my best to also be brief. So at Ozarks Food Harvest, we are the Feeding America Food Bank for Southwest Missouri. And so the problem we're primarily trying to solve is the issue of hunger, because here in Southwest Missouri, we're looking about 1 in 5 kids and 1 in 6 adults facing hunger right now. And so what we do is we deliver food to about 270 different charities spread across a 28-county service area, or about a third of the state. And the reason we do that is to take the burden off of small pantries spread across a very rural service area to try and gather their own food and figure out how to do that. By having a 100,000 square foot warehouse, we're able to distribute much more effectively, purchase food much more cheaply, and to also recover food much more effectively from a variety of local grocers like AWG, Walmart, places like that. And so with this population, we are trying to tackle hunger from a variety of different programs. And the reason we do this is to prevent those trade-offs that people have to face. So we understand that hunger is just one part of the issue, but when we're taking care of that, that frees up funding to take care of a rent payment, to fix a car, to make sure that people have utilities over the winter months. And so we tackle that through mostly distributing food to our agencies. We have mobile food pantries to rural communities that may not even have a place to distribute food. We have specifically targeted programs for seniors. We have a weekend backpack program for the children who may not have access to meals over the weekend if they're using free and reduced lunch services during the week. And so through a variety of services, we're trying to tackle that hunger issue and make sure that we're not leaving any specific section of the population behind.
Well, compared to these gentlemen, we are the small kid on the block. We are the Women's Medical Respite, and I don't know if you know what a respite is, but if you can imagine, we are there for homeless women. And if you can imagine having had a surgery or a medical test that you were sedated, or you're having ongoing therapy and being homeless and trying to maintain a sanitary cleanliness on a wound or an incision, or just trying to recover in rain and snow and summer heat, how difficult that is. So what we do is we provide a residential boarding home for women that are homeless, that have gone through a medical procedure and need a safe place to recover. Right now, we can take in 6 women at a time, and they are in a residential home that's complete with, we've got shared bedrooms that we can house 6 women. We have a daytime staff and a nighttime monitor with them. We do not provide medical care. We simply provide them this safe place to live. We provide all of their meals while they're there at no cost to them. We help them with transportation to their therapy appointments, to their doctor's appointments. We help to set them up with a primary care doctor if they don't have one. Our staff will also help them get documents, work with Social Security, because a lot of times they've left homes in a hurry. They've been evicted for a number of reasons. It could have been the death of a spouse, or they weren't on a lease with a friend or whatever. And so sometimes in that hurried exit, they have left behind driver's licenses, birth certificates, and if you can imagine trying to do anything to get help or aid without identification, how difficult that is. So we walk through that with them. With having a respite, it gives the ladies a better chance of success, because if they are released from the hospital back out to the streets, oftentimes it's too soon and they'll end up going back into the hospital, which then is a black mark to the hospital. And if they go back within 30 days, it can affect, the hospital's involvement with an insurance agency. It also can mean that they come back into the hospital with a more serious condition, or sometimes a life-threatening condition. So it helps reduce the strain on the hospitals. Our patients are recommended to us by the hospitals or by care facilities. Sometimes they are recommended to us by some of the other nonprofits, like a Sing to Sleep or that kind of other option that they come to us. We provide the meals. Like I said, we have donors that will sometimes provide food, or they're providing money for food. We have volunteers who will provide a meal and come sit and visit with the ladies and give them a sense of, they're valid. They have stories, and they are interesting people. They are a victim of their circumstances, and having quality time just visiting with these ladies gives them a sense of hope. I think that pretty much does it.
So one thing, if you think about the nonprofits, when the economy is good, that's great. But when the economy stalls or is going down, nonprofits get squeezed on both sides. It becomes more difficult to raise money, sometimes more difficult to get grants. At the same time, the line of customers goes around the block because the demand for their services goes up. So it's difficult to be a nonprofit in those kind of economic conditions. And so nonprofits are getting squeezed right now. And so we'll start with you, Adam, again. What is the impact on your organization of the economy and the federal funding cuts to nonprofits that have occurred, if any?
We were talking earlier, and I joked. I said, everything is unprecedented now. I would kill for precedented times. Just give me a couple precedented days, and I will be good. But you're exactly right, Greg. We're in a position right now where we are seeing the demand for our services and the need for the services we provide. It's increasing. It's been steadily increasing. It continues to increase. It is increasing across all demographics, across all populations. And I know it's the same for both of these organizations as well. Especially when it comes to really, and not only federal, but state and local, any grants, contracts, any kind of funding. Things are different now. There used to be, I think, contracts that you would take for granted that you were going to see them renew and there would be a sustainability goal, and we don't have that anymore. In some cases, there have been program cuts, there have been funding caps, and again, like you said, it's at a time when we're seeing the high need and great demand. So that definitely does squeeze. We are very good stewards with our funds. That's one of those things I'm very proud of. CPO as an organization, whether it's looking at performance metrics or audits. We've never gone to jail. We've always stayed out of, financial jail. And it's top notch. It's very good. We're fortunate there. But it's difficult. But because of the approach we take, we are looking at private fundraising opportunities more and more. We are looking at diversifying, where the money comes in. We are having to think outside the box and really creative in ways that we never have before. And so it's not easy. It is difficult. It is very hard even just from a personal perspective, having to tell someone that we don't have resources available for them. And this is something, again, I know that my two partners here are very familiar with. It's difficult. It is a hard environment.
Certainly. Yeah, no, I think Adam summarized that very well about it being a very challenging environment, especially dealing with a variety of program cuts, especially ones that are directly affecting the people we serve and our ability to serve them. For example, at Ozarks Food Harvest, we experienced a $3 million loss in USDA food that we were supposed to receive this year that won't be coming back this year. And then with the recent passage of the Big Beautiful Bill, on fiscal year 27 and 28, we're looking at a SNAP cost sharing program that will affect the state of Missouri, which has dramatic potential to affect food security statewide. And these are some more problems on the horizon that we're trying to solve, all amidst the issues of increased need across our community. So, for example, right now we're serving about 70,000 individuals each month. And in order to continue serving those folks, we have to purchase additional food. We have to make sure that our trucks are staying maintained, that we can get out there every single day for deliveries. So we're in a very challenging time right now to try and make up for things that are happening right now and things that are happening in the future for the folks that we're serving.
Jordan, how many people are you serving each month?
I'm sorry, 70,000.
70,000.
Yes, 70,000 individuals each month across our 28-day service area.
Thank you. Saundra?
Well, we aren't as directly impacted by a lot of the federal budget cuts because most of our income has come through private donations and grants that we've applied for. We did get some funds during the COVID ARPA funds, which was a one-time situation. However, the situation is affecting us greatly in that it's affecting the people that we serve. Springfield has as you know, a major homeless issue, which is growing all the time. And we can only serve 6 ladies at a time, and they're there for an average of 21 days. So we are having to turn people away, and we're seeing more and more women end up in these kinds of circumstances. In addition, our costs are going up as well as everybody else's for the food, the transportation, the costs that we are having to cover. The women do not pay a single thing for their time with us. The hospitals don't provide anything. That's strictly through volunteer donations. So it's more for us a trickle-down situation than it is a direct impact other than what it is doing to our costs.
Thank you, Saundra. I happen to know that volunteers play a critical role in all 3 of your organizations. Talk a little bit about the role volunteers play, but also how you create a sense of belonging for those volunteers, how you make them feel appreciated.
I have long said if somebody wants to donate their time, you will find a way to do that. That is a personal commitment I have made to try to support volunteerism. We have all kinds of opportunities, whether it's through our community and neighborhood development divisions, over at the O'Reilly Center of Albany, will also be replicating in New Day. We offer, again, there's critical care services. I need volunteer support to help staff and run those. And as a matter of fact, Today, we are unable to offer showers because we don't have anybody that can help us staff that space. But whether it is volunteering on a recurring basis, I have people that I see them once a week, twice a week. I have people that I see once a month. I have servers that have come out once and it's been a one and done. Whether it is helping with things at the center, whether it is providing some levels of administrative support. Right now, as we get ready to head into winter, the Crisis Cold Weather Shelter Network is actively seeking volunteers. And there's, again, a host of opportunities there. In addition to being an overnight volunteer, there are opportunities with helping with transporting pets, or coordinating meals, or providing meals, or dropping off linens in the morning to be laundered. All kinds of opportunities. And as far as the second part of the question, in the sense of belonging, we value our volunteers. It is no small thing. It is no small ask for someone to give of their time and expertise to assist us, and recognize the critical nature, again, of having volunteers to support our efforts. So I don't know if there's a way to say it other than we're really, really nice and appreciative of them, but essentially that's it. It is, we have some folks who have been volunteering with our programming for years now. One in particular that came to us from Greg's aforementioned Give 5 program, Laverne, he was just an amazing man. I loved him dearly. We lost him last year. He passed away. He was instrumental in helping with so many projects. I always knew when I saw his truck at the center that he was there fixing something, and then I would go say hi, and then I would distract him, and he'd end up being there for a lot longer. Because we would just sit and talk. We would sit and talk about everything under the sun. I loved him deeply. And we recently, over the past year, we renamed our tool library program. It is now the Laverne Shell Tool Library, and it's just a small token of our appreciation, of our gratitude, reflection of what he did for us and with us together. And so I like to think, I can't guarantee I'm going to name something after everybody. You run out of rooms eventually. We've already got the Greg Burris bathroom stall.
Very proud.
But we really do. When you volunteer, we recognize the impact and the importance, and nobody has to. That's the thing with volunteering. You don't have to do it, right? It's you're choosing to do it. You're choosing to get invested in something that's important to you. And we couldn't do what we do without it. And so it is just very, very appreciative.
Anybody want to guess what Laverne's wife's name is?
Oh, yeah, this is great. Sure. Take a guess.
Shirley.
That's it.
Shirley.
Yep.
Laverne and Shirley.
The first time I said, no, really, let's hear it.
Jordan. So what would the Ozarks Food Harvest look like without volunteers?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we would not be able to do our basic operations without volunteers. I can't state enough how vital volunteers are. So, I mean, on a weekly basis, they're helping us sort about 100,000 pounds of food to get out the door. So, I mean, this is work that we would have to hire about 15 full-time employees to help out with if we did not have access to them. In addition to that, we have our own food bank farm out in Rogersville, where we have folks working out there 4 days a week doing hard work I'm not doing, of like digging up plant beds, pulling weeds, like harvesting plants. And it's so key to what we're doing. I think right now we're hitting about 3,900 volunteers each year. And to kind of echo what Adam said is they are giving us way more than we are giving them, but we do try and have different means of showing appreciation. For us, we try and recognize the amount of hours that have been given to our organization. So usually on a rolling basis of 500 hours, 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours. And we've been so very blessed by the community that we've actually created 2 gift of time trees within our facilities that recognize anyone between 1,000 and 4,000 hours. And so far, I believe we have over 50 to where we're having to add to this every single week. And it's a great organization. Like I was saying, they're giving us way more. We try and do things to recognize them. We give pizza, donuts, trying to do celebration things. And most of the time they're like, no, I'm just happy to come in. Like, this is almost become a social outlet for it. And I think some of the key factors we work on is trying to make sure that we are not wasting their time when they choose to come volunteer with us. At our sessions, we usually have a 3-hour session from 9 to noon and then 1 to 4. We make sure that they are busy by the time they get there. We offer snacks and drinks for about a 15-minute break in between, but otherwise they are on the line. They are getting food out as quickly as possible. And we've heard consistent compliments from our volunteers that's one of the key factors is I felt like I was actually contributing to what you're doing here at Ozarks Food Harvest. Between that and being able to offer them different opportunities to volunteer in the community, either with our mobile food pantries, or as we're still going through the government shutdown, we're going to have volunteers out to help folks who may be missing their first paycheck by Monday. So we try and offer a lot of different opportunities for them to be involved in our entire food distribution service.
Well, like these gentlemen, our organization wouldn't exist without the volunteers that we have. They provide, like I said, some will come in and actually provide a full meal. They'll come in and cook it, sit down with the ladies and visit with them while they fix it. Others will drop off a meal. Others will order it from Sam's or Costco, whatever, and have it delivered. So that's a lot of times the evening meal. For the lunch meal, a lot of times our staff will cook it. We do have a paid staff through the day, one person. But we get volunteers from some community garden centers that do provide food. They've also provided plants for us because we undertook to create a sustainable garden this last summer. And so we've had, plants volunteered. We've had people come and weed and help harvest that. So providing food. We also have volunteers that make handmade items. With us having the ladies about 21 days, you can't find a home in 21 days. Hopefully we can find them a little shelter that's a little longer term than we can provide, but it's not permanent yet. But oftentimes they're having to go back out on the streets. And we have a lady who takes used jeans and makes denim bags, which are very durable, large, that when these ladies go back out in the street, they have something to carry all the things that they need with them back out into the street. So just little things like that, also providing some food or some clothing at times of need and some blankets, those kinds of things help. And then we have castle volunteers from the colleges, from MSU has castle volunteers that come over in the evenings and sit with the ladies from 6 to 9 as part of their community work and their education. And they share stories with the ladies, and they listen to the ladies' stories, which puts a face on it for them. We are also starting, I think this fall, a similar program with the OTC. OTC is who we're going to do that with. And as for recognizing the volunteers, like you guys, we try to treat them nice and let them know how much we appreciate them and thank them. We have a quarterly newsletter that we put out, and we try to note in there, point out and spotlight a volunteer each time, and also thank them through that. And then once a year, we have a donor tea that's an appreciation for all of those that have volunteered time with us. It's for donors and for volunteers.
Thanks, Saundra. Before we leave the topic of volunteerism, I want to just a point of privilege. I want to thank you all for what you do, because it's organizations like the North Springfield Betterment Association that make communities what they are. When I was with the city, you were kind enough to invite me to come make presentations a couple times and give updates on what was going on at the city. And that was very meaningful to me, but also the impact that this organization has on the community has ripple effects. And so if you just think about, the lives that you're changing and just kind of the domino effect of what you're doing, you'll never know the full impact that you're having on the community. So just thank you. All right, we're going to go to the speed round. Last question, because we want to leave the questions from the audience. So what is one thing that you wish our community knew, either about your organization or about the needs in the community that your organization addresses?
You guys want to? I'm not a big person. It's a speed round, so I'm going to go slow.
We can reverse the order.
We're going to reverse it.
Well, for us, it's just getting the word out there. We call ourselves Springfield's best kept secret, not for want of trying, but we are a small organization with small visibility. We've been in an organization for 10 years now. We celebrated our 10th anniversary. And when I went to give 5, I had never heard of the Women's Medical Respite. Then as a result of that, I joined the board, and I've been presented to give 5 several times since then. And there's a few more hands go up each time we present, but not a lot of people are aware of us. So just getting the word out there. I put some flyers on some of the tables. I have more if you need them. Check out our website at thewomensmedicalrespite.org with a dash in there in between. Find out a little bit more about us and share the word. Let people know we exist. That's the biggest thing you can do to help us.
Thanks, son.
Let's see, that's it.
Yeah, we should have been doing this from the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
So for Ozarks Food Harvest specifically, the one thing I always like to touch on is that hunger usually doesn't look like what most people imagine. Is that most of the folks that we are serving out in the community are folks that have jobs, they have places to stay, they have a high school education. Most just aren't able to make it last throughout the month. And that's what we're trying to do, is making sure that they have that food so that way they can continue to make it from month to month, and making sure that they remain fed, and then especially their kids remain fed. And even like with different populations, especially seniors. And I think that's what gets missed in the equation a lot when we start talking about nutrition assistance and federal assistance to folks that are struggling, is that most of these people are not in a situation that they would have chosen. But we have to offer them a hand up in order so that they can continue to be fulfilling lives and be contributing members of society, and to try and get away from that stereotype that I think a lot of us have learned. Thanks, Jordan.
Ditto to everything. So, as far as something to know, what I wish you knew about community partnership and the work you do, it's interesting because our job is to get people to collaborate. There are things we do, but really, at the end of the day, our job is to look at the red flags in the community, look at emerging issues, look at longstanding issues, and help bring together the right people who can positively impact those issues. It's not something that we all want to do or can do on our own, but we want to convene. We want to bring the right people together and work together. I think we're fortunate to be in a community where that is sort of the status quo, and there is a willingness to do that. So that's one thing, understanding, just make sure everybody knows. Because here's the thing, I'm not from around here. When I came here, I heard, and when I got involved in the nonprofit world about 10 years ago, I heard over and over and over again, we are such a collaborative community, and everybody works together, and everybody this and everybody that, and teamwork makes the dream work. And I was like, I don't really care. That's great, I guess, but like, all right, I have been here long enough now. It is critical. It is crucial. It is a hallmark. It is something to be proud of. It is something to strive for. I stand before you converted, having drunk the Kool-Aid. So that's one thing. If we were to talk about things regarding the populations we serve, particularly those experiencing homelessness, facing housing instability, again, it's a lot of the same things that Jordan said. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, and I am always happy to provide whatever education and from my perspective and point of view that I can on that. These are people working hard, trying very hard to navigate complex systems, and there is just not nearly enough resources to meet the demand. And so just know that when you see people out there that they are trying, I guarantee it.
Great. Thank you, all three of you. We have just a couple of minutes. Any questions from the audience? First question, you will win this remote control. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Oh, 2 questions. One is for Saundra. Saundra, were you guys located on Commercial Street before?
Yes, I think when the organization, 10 years ago, it was, we were on Commercial Street. We were able to house 2 women at that time. After that, we had an apartment over at the kitchen facility on Glynstone, where we got up to a big 3 ladies that we could house, but it had 2 beds upstairs. So basically one downstairs, a lot of people couldn't be mobile. And we were fortunate enough to get our own house in 2024 that we can serve 6. And it's located off Glenstone.
You said you accepted volunteer help from universities. Would you be willing to accept it from upper teenagers, like 16, 17-year-olds in high school? Ladies and speak to them? Play cards, that kind of thing?
I think we can. I don't know, Carol, have we looked at that? Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Then I have a gentleman from O'Reilly Center for Hope. So I guess I've been ignorant. You said CPO several times, and then you talked about private fundraising. In my mind, I always thought it was an O'Reilly initiative and it was privately funded. Can you explain the relationship? So are you guys CPO, or can you just give me a
Yeah,
30
the O'Reilly Center for Hope, the New Day Center, these are initiatives of community partnership or CPO. We live in a world of acronyms, so I apologize if I use one that is. No, the O'Reilly Center for Hope, like so many of our fantastic buildings around town, Charlie O'Reilly is a long time. He's a board member. He's a long time been an advocate and a friend and ally and a partner. And so the O'Reilly Family Foundation, along with the city of Springfield, I want to make sure Greg gets his due. Also, they were instrumental in the funding to launch the O'Reilly Center for Hope.
We provided a bathroom stall.
That So between, and I don't even remember at this point, it was what the particular funding was. It was HUD funding that came through the city. And, so it's a combination. We have federal contracts, we have state contracts, local, all kinds of things, plus private donations. And the O'Reilly Family Foundation and the $1 million was instrumental in getting the building launched. Because previously, we had a little tiny building on Central. We were right across the street from the Midtown Library and City Utilities. I love telling this story. Greg loves when I tell this story. The city rented us, essentially, I guess, that little building for $1 a year or something along those lines. And the only catch was it was slated for demolition when we moved in. Right? So it was one of those, and we can argue whether or not we overpaid with that $1. But it was a lovely home. It housed our division for many years. It was fantastic, as long as you didn't put anything important in the corner, because they told us when the roof collapses, that's where it's going to go. But even then, this notion of co-locating services and bringing all these different providers together and being able to address very complicated issues holistically, we knew how important that was. And so even then, we were always looking for, okay, what's the next location, the next spot where we'll be able to do this bigger and better than we have. So does that explain? Does that help? Okay.
It is a true one-stop shop with a diversity of funding sources. Would you please join me in thanking our panelists? I'm sure they're willing to stick around if you have other questions after this is over.
It seems hot.